so happy to announce that this art video is made in collaboration with Marta Chovolovska from the Queens and Rebels podcast. Marta, who is Ukrainian, has a deep insight into Maria Prymachenko and why Maria and her art is so important for Ukraine. And Maria is certainly a Ukrainian queen and rebel in her own right. But our journey about Maria sadly starts just a few days after the Russian invasion in Ukraine. In February 2022, a local museum in Ivankiv, southwest Ukraine, was destroyed following an attack by the Russian forces. The museum was home to the works of Maria, and she is one of the most prominent artists in Ukraine, even admired by Pablo Picasso. Why, you might ask, would Russian forces attack an art museum? Well, artistic expression can provide a very important outlet and a strong common ground for cultural traditions and thoughts, like a strong bond between people. And Maria is surely an icon for the Ukrainian national identity. Marta from the Queens and Rebels podcast explains.
Maria's art is very much rooted in her connection to her native land of Ukraine, and especially her native land in Poltava region and her village, to which she had a lot of ties in. Her art is extremely connected to nature and to the land that surrounded her.
And it's very easy to fall in love with her vibrant colors, floral motifs, fantastical beasts and imaginative details. And so did Pablo Picasso. He supposedly said, quote, "I bowed down before this artistic miracle of this brilliant Ukrainian," unquote. And also Marc Chagall was impressed. He said that his own paintings are, quote, "cousins to the strange beasts of Maria Prymachenko," end quote.
Her art often combines an element of the ugly and the beautiful, or predatory and the innocent. And some of these fantastic beasts, just like with people, are ambiguous and are hard to identify as good or evil. It was a reflection of the outside world. Life was both ugly and beautiful. In her struggles depicting good and evil, good often triumphed over evil, and she was described as an optimist despite the difficult life that she had. One of her favorite themes was also joy and sorrow. For example, she would paint the graves, but around them there would be this joyous field full of bright and blooming flowers. Her fantastic beasts were often made to reflect humans. Once she was asked why she doesn't paint people, and she answered, I quote, "They are people," unquote. Her art is mesmerizing and it has a fairy tale-like quality. It is dynamic. Her motifs change depending on her inner state and the circumstances that surround her life, but she often preferred bright colors and a thick decorative base with graphic contours.
Today, Maria and her art is important for the Ukrainian culture, but during her lifetime she was not regarded as a prominent artist, at least not by the then ruling authorities, the Soviet Union.
Despite her popularity within artistic circles, the Soviet authorities often dismissed her as this kind of, I wouldn't say simple-minded, but this child-minded village lady. It was often evident in the government-dictated press, which was all press, obviously, but they often referred to her as this, like, happy-go-lucky little artist, you know, and it was due to a sexist attitude of, she's just a silly little woman, that type of narrative, and particularly due to a deliberate Russian colonization policy of dismissing non-Russian Soviet nations as little brothers, so she fell under this little Ukrainian, simple-minded Ukrainian narrative. And of course, this is not just Russia that had this type of narrative. It's kind of a 101 of colonialism. where the aggressor that seeks to dominate claims that there was no culture or sophistication prior to them bringing it in, and often cultural elements get appropriated into the colonial culture. What the Soviet authorities failed to recognize is that she chose to stay in her village because of a tremendous spiritual connection she had to the land.
And she certainly possessed a unique worldview, conjured from a deep love of Ukrainian tradition and a fanciful imagination.
By all accounts, again, she was a very loving, very kind person. What Maria ultimately wanted was to leave goodness and love on this earth. I quote, "I create for the joy and the happiness of the people, so that all nations love each other, so that they live like flowers all over this earth," unquote, she said about her art.
She loved beauty, was an ardent pacifist, a champion of freedom and preserving cultural traditions. Her art gave us hope that the good can ultimately triumph over evil. And her painting, "A Dove Has Spread Her Wings and Asked for Peace," has become the very symbol for peace in Ukraine. Luckily, not all her paintings were destroyed in February 2022. One heroic Ukrainian man managed to take the paintings away from the fire, and Maria's art is certainly very important for the hope and pride of the Ukrainian nation. I personally just adore and love the colors and playfulness in Maria's art. What do you like about Maria and her art? Let us know in the comments below. We would really love to be able to allocate more time representing and promoting female artists on MIKONO art. If you would like to make a contribution to our channel, you'll find our PayPal link in the description box below. And you can also support us by subscribing, sharing, like and comment below. Thank you so much for watching.